Have you ever lost all respect for someone in seconds? When I was in college, I worked part-time at this small cafe downtown. It wasn't anything fancy, but it had a cozy vibe, regulars who came every morning, music always playing low, and this small crew of employees who all kind of felt like family. There was one guy I worked with, let's call him Chris. He was older than me, super confident, always making people laugh. Everyone thought he was the cool one. He'd tease customers in a playful way, joke with the staff, and act like he ran the place. Honestly, when I first started, I looked up to him a bit. One morning, the cafe was packed, rush hour, everyone half awake and cranky. I was on register, Chris was behind the counter making drinks. Then this older woman walked in. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept much, and her hands were trembling a little as she counted her change. She quietly ordered a small coffee and a blueberry muffin. When she got to the total, she realized she was short, maybe 80 cents. She looked up and said softly, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just take the coffee then." I was about to tell her not to worry about it, I'd cover it. But before I could open my mouth, Chris leaned over and said loud enough for everyone to hear. "If you can't afford a muffin, maybe you shouldn't be eating out." The entire cafe went silent. You could feel the air change. People just stopped mid-sip, staring. The woman's face turned red. She tried to laugh it off and said, "You're right, I suppose," then just left. I just stood there in disbelief. Like, did that really just happen? She didn't even get her coffee. After she walked out, Chris looked at me and grinned like he'd said something clever. I said, "Dude, what was that? That wasn't cool." He shrugged and said, "Relax, man. It's called tough love. The world's not a charity." Then he just went right back to making drinks like nothing happened. That moment changed everything.
All that confidence I used to admire suddenly looked fake. It wasn't confidence, it was arrogance. On my break, I found the woman outside, apologized, and she just smiled and said, "Some people just haven't learned kindness yet." That line stuck with me. I told my manager what happened, and a few days later, Chris was gone. When he called me soft, I realized he'd just proven my point. A week later, the woman came back, smiled, and said, "You must be the nice one." I gave her a muffin on the house, and she said, "Kindness always finds its way back." And she was right, sometimes one moment shows you exactly who someone really is.